Now, as with every prediction video, you don't get really any good feedback because the person who supports that club isn't happy with that team's position, so it's not going to change in this video. You're not going to be happy with some of my predictions. There are a few bold calls chucked in here that I very well may change before my actual predictions before the start of the season. But let's get right into my bottom 10 AFL predictions for 2023. Let's start with the wooden spoon. I've gone with Hawthorn. Hawthorn, I think they might accept defeat, that they're going to be a crap side this year. Sam Mitchell's going to try and instill some youth in the team that can try and take the team forward a little bit this year, but realistically, the addition of Karl Amon won't be enough to cover up the major losses of Jaeger O'Meara and Tom Mitchell. James Sicily can hold down a back line, but he hasn't got much help back there. It's a very, very young side, and as I just said, losing the experience of Mitchell and O'Meara will not be helpful at all. And yeah, I think the Hawks will just lack that experience and lack that desire to not desire, but lack the ability and skill to take it up to teams in 2023. I think it'll be real tough for them. So coming in 17th, we've got Greater Western Sydney. The big losses are Tim Taranto and Jacob Hopper, both to Richmond. Greater Western Sydney are an interesting one because they haven't got a lot of depth in the back line. Now, they've got a few good talents like Himmelberg and Perryman. In fact, what I've actually heard is Himmelberg's going to play forward this year. Their forwards talent's a bit, yeah, their midfield can do a job. Losing Tim Taranto won't help that. And their ruck stocks are very, very thin. And if not thin, just lacking quality. Greater Western Sydney, like Hawthorn, they're going to be a young side this year. Their premiership window has well and truly closed from that 4-year period leading up to about 2019, and they're now going to head into a rebuilding phase. Coming in at 16th, I have the West Coast Eagles. Although I have faith, they could actually finish a lot higher. West Coast drafted exceptionally well. Guys like Ruben Gimby, Elijah Hewitt, Harry Barnett, and Noah Long. They're going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with when it comes to their youth talent going into the future. But we cannot be blindsided by the absolute abundance of real old talent. Elliot Yeo and Dom Shee do still have a little bit to give, but their window is closing very quickly. Jeremy McGovern will again be playing off the half-back line this year, and he, well, I've got to say, I don't really rate him anymore. Obviously, a gun in his prime, but guys like him and Jack Darling, who's actually touch and go for round one with some injury issues, they're two key position players that are getting older, and that will struggle to hold down those West Coast lines. Andrew Gaff and Luke Shuey aren't hitting anywhere near their old best. It's going to be all down to the youth for West Coast, and luckily I do think they drafted well, so I do think they won't finish in the bottom two. But although I could see them finishing in the bottom two or all the way up to a position like 14th, you never know with West Coast this year. They're a really interesting team, and although they are my cross-town rivals and I do absolutely despise them, I'll be really interested to see how they can do this year, and hopefully not very well. In 15th, I've got Alistair Clarkson taking the Roos up there. 15th is better than 18th, and it'll be a slow and steady ride for Alistair Clarkson and the Roos. I think Alistair Clarkson has been really smart with this off-season. He's gone and got Liam Shields from Hawthorn, some old talent that he knows very, very well from the Hawks. And he got some easy-to-get talent, but talent he knows that will be very, very handy, such as Griffin Logue, Darcy Tucker, Jed Anderson, a few steals that will be really good in the depth stocks for North Melbourne. They've drafted exceptionally well, obviously. George Wardlaw, Will Phillips, Harry Sheasel, absolute guns that they've drafted all in the top 10. And it will be a slow and steady ride. You could see the Roos maybe even finishing higher than 15th. But yeah, they'll slowly go up the trajectory, but they won't get there quite just this year. I'm going to put them in 15th. In 14th, I literally have no idea where to put them. I've gone with Essendon. Essendon could finish anywhere, absolutely anywhere. What a weird club. I've got a new coach in Brad Scott, but how well will he do? We don't know. Will he get a wooden spoon? Will he make the top 8? Essendon are the most unknown club in 2023. Didn't really get anyone in the off-season. They got Anthony McDonald, Tipperary, but it's all down to the new coach. They had a lot of controversy in the off-season. They're probably just looking to wipe that past and get Brad Scott in, instill his mentality in the players and try and turn the football club around. In 13th, I've got the Western Bulldogs in a big call. A lot of people have the Dogs sliding, and you can definitely see why. Well, you can definitely also see why the Dogs can make it, can make the top 8 this year. The Dogs 13th even seems a little low for me. But the loss of Josh Dunkley for me cannot be overstated, but then I might also be understating how good the midfielder Bontempelli, McRae and Bailey Smith is. chances are by my season predictions, I won't have the Bulldogs this low. It's just a little bit of a bold call and something I do really feel could happen. Rory Lobb getting added to the side, I guess, will be a good marking target and a good backup man to Tim English when rucking in the forward line. But the Dogs just slowly look like they're lacking chemistry, they're lacking desire. Luke Beveridge is slowly just losing the players, moving these players roles around when they really don't need to be moved. I'm going to go Dogs in 13th and Beveridge to get sacked. In 12th, I've got the Gold Coast Suns, but I do feel like I could finish a lot higher, but definitely not any lower than 12th. Everyone every year has been saying the Suns are on a real upward trajectory and will get, a real good finish year after year, and finally, I think this is the year. Took Miller is an absolutely unbelievable nick. Noah Anderson, Matt Rowell in that midfield, maybe Chol on the forward line, obviously a couple of years ago. A great pickup from Richmond, and he's really instilled himself as a core part into that Gold Coast Suns best 22. I love the way the entire club and its culture goes about it. Stuart Dew really is the man for the job. He got a new deal in the off-season, and I feel he is the man to take them forward to their first finals appearance, whether that is this year, next year, or the years to come. The Suns have a real exciting future, and this prediction could be a little bit low, but I'm going to put them in 12th for now. In 11th, I've gone with another huge call, and as I keep saying, when it comes to the real predictions, this may not end up, being my call. It's a little bit of a bold call on something that always has a sniff of happening. I've gone with Melbourne in 11th. Obviously, losing Luke Jackson isn't ideal, but what's even more ideal is getting Brodie Grundy to replace him. Jackson was the future man of the D's, but if Grundy can stay fit this year alongside Gorm, it will be a stupid call to put them in 11th, and lucky this isn't my actual predictions. I didn't really end up getting it sorted last year, and that's what could hold them back again this year, and they did nothing about it in the off-season. Their forward line is an absolute mess, whether that means throwing Jacob Van Rooyen in for a debut in the forward line, who I've historically been a very big fan of since he got drafted. I wanted Freo to get him. I think he's a fantastic player and deserves to be in the mix of the Bailey Fritches and the Ben Browns this year. Simon Goodwin's really got to work with his forward coaches to make sure that gets sorted, because the back six is still among the best in the league, as is the midfield and the ruck department. That forward line's really what letting Melbourne down, and it may not drag them to as low as 11th, as I've said here, but Melbourne have got to be wary of that in 2023. Coming in at 10th, maybe a little high, maybe a little low. Like Essendon, an unknown team in 2023, it's St Kilda. The Saints have Ross the Boss back at the wheel. What could Ross possibly do with this Saints list? The Saints list is mediocre in areas. They've lost some heart and soul players such as Ben Long, but they've also brought in some of these really, really strange younger signings, which Ross Lyon and the recruiting department must really like. I believe they brought Steven Silvani back as the director of football, and it looks like they are heading in an upwards direction. We've said that for about 80 years, but it looks like they are. They'll push for a finals berth soon. Ross Lyon will just need a little bit of time to settle in with this squad, slowly develop the team over the next few years, and the Saints will be a force once again, no doubt, under Ross Lyon. I do truly believe he was the right appointment, and he's a really good coach. We've got to remember, we can forget about the bad years at Fremantle, but he left St Kilda on a high. He took Fremantle to 4 straight finals appearances in his first 4 years. He's a very capable coach, and being in surroundings that he loves and knows at Moorabbin, he'll do a job. And coming in at 9th, could very easily make finals, could very easily make top 4. Fuck it, could win the flag. They won't. It's Port Adelaide. The power is stabbed with the loss of Robbie Gray due to retirement in the off-season. But if Scott Lycett stays healthy all season, we've forgotten how good he is, tapping down to a midfield of a Brownlow medalist, to Travis Boak, a bunch of absolute guns, kicking into a forward line where once again it's all about the health of the power. If Charlie Dixon can stay healthy, he'll be firing. If Jeremy Finlayson can stay healthy, he'll be firing. They lost Carl Amon to Hawthorn, which is a devastating loss. I think Amon's one of the most underrated players. Port Adelaide's young talent, they'll drive them through this year. Zach Buggers, Xavier Dersma, Connor Rozee. Dersma maybe not falling in favour with Hinkley every week, but he's still got an amazing upside. And we all know the upside of Rozee and Buggers, 2 best 22 players week in, week out, and we know that they will develop before our eyes. We've just got to watch out for how good they will be and develop through this year. My personal belief is that Rozee and Buggers will take the games to another level, in particular Connor Rozee. Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to go check out my top 8 predictions, I'll leave the link down in the description. Is your team in here? Are you happy? Are you disgusted with my call? Comment your thoughts below on this entire prediction. I'm interested to hear. Obviously, this is just early predictions, a bit of fun. My actual predictions probably won't be as outlandish as this, but yeah, thought I'd have a little bit of fun. Thank you all for watching. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video. Go sub to my soccer channel. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers over there with almost daily content, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.